Erik, real recognizes real. That's why you and me are doing business together. Yeah. I know your friends don't necessarily like me. I know you probably get shit for our relationship sometimes, but you know that I'm real. You know that I tell the truth, and you know that I'm passionate about cigars and that I'm trying to usher in this. Not trying to. We're ushering in a new wave of cigar smokers that fucking love your work.
There's nobody can tell me how to run my business. I run my business, and I pick and choose who I do business with. And there's nobody alive going to tell me who I can or cannot do business with. I've been through too much in my life, and I've had too much struggles in my life for somebody to come and tell me. You understand? So, people need to stay in their lane and do what they want to do, and I don't knock nobody,
That being said, I do appreciate the fact that you never wavered on our relationship when I know for a fact that you've definitely gotten a lot of phone calls about certain things over time. I think all those things are dead now. Yeah, water under the bridge.
Good. We move on.
Right.
But I don't fold. I don't fold for nobody. 100%. I've been through too much in my life, and I don't fold.
100%. So we're here right now with Erik Espinosa, cigar maker extraordinaire, Cuban, Miami. Tell us about, I want to get a different interview on you this time. I know you don't, I feel like you may not like, opening up a little bit about certain things that aren't just cigar related, but I want you to, I'm asking you to, and hopefully you'll oblige. Tell me about where you come from. Where were you born? When did you reach Miami? And how did cigars play a role in your life way before you started making cigars?
Truth is, I hated cigars. Hated. One of the things I hated the most in life was cigars.
Why?
Because I laugh at what's happening now, because you see a lot of people, hey, Erik, come to my house. I just build a man cave in the back and come smoke. When your whole house should be your man cave. That's how it was for my dad. Okay, my dad, the whole house was his man cave.
You're definitely
I don't understand those things. My dad would smoke in the bathroom, in the living room, in the bedroom. It didn't matter. So the combination of, my dad had his own construction company, and I also hated the Cuban coffee because the vapes of the Cuban coffee is so powerful that the combination of the smoke and the vapes, my mom would make the Cuban coffee.
Wow.
Because having his own construction company, he'd leave at the same time we did, going to school, and he'd come back around 3:30 when we got back from school. So, I mean...
So this is in Miami, though?
This is Miami, yeah.
Okay, so you were born in Miami, or you were born...
No, I was born in Cuba, but we
How
came
old
over
were you when you got
3
here?
3 months.
Oh, wow, okay, so you were really...
67,
okay, so you've been here your whole life.
Right, and then...
but he was always smoking cigars?
Oh, he's 87 right now. You'll never see my dad without a cigar in his mouth. My dad's...
Wow.
Remember, we had an operation, and the first thing, they take all the tubes out, and he looks at me, and he goes like this, and I'm like, I swear to God, I swear my life is true story. He needed the nicotine, and I'm like, Dad, you can't right here, we gotta get to another room. And I did. I got him a cigar. He didn't light it up, but he just needed to chew it. Because he's a chewer. So
yeah, you've told. I've heard this.
Being a chewer. You'd walk by my dad, and and he'd go like this to you. It looked like a paintbrush, a cigar, because he chewed it. And he'd go like this, and you're like, you're going like this. And he'd do that to my sister. He'd do that. I guess he didn't want us to smoke cigars. He didn't want. And then one day I was 15, and my brother and I, we stole some beers and some cigars. We were getting banged up and smoking, and and never got sick. Yeah, I never got sick with a cigar. Huh. And I kind of liked it,
Yeah.
And they were BS cigars. They weren't even premium. They were, the stuff you'd buy at the gas station, liquor stores, or whatever. And then every party and then it just started. It just started. I mean, I smoked maybe 3, 4, 5 cigars a year.
Right.
I was 15. And then 16, maybe 10. And when I was 17, maybe 20 a year. And then 18, all hell broke loose. When I turned 18, I was driving a truck for UPS, but they would call me Cigar because I always had the cigar. Now, I wouldn't smoke it because you would have to go in and out of the business. You didn't have time to smoke it, but I would always leave it in my mouth. And now, look at me now. I mean, sometimes you look back in life and you say, how did we get here? And it's just mind-boggling to me how something that I just hated so much
Yeah.
growing up, and
So-
and now, you know,
18 years old, you're a driver for UPS.
yeah.
Where does your career go from there until you start actually making cigars or getting into the cigar industry? Like, how did that
Well-
transition from regular job to in the cigar business? And now you're in Miami, you're in Hialeah.
Yeah. So I
And for those people at home that don't know, Hialeah is
like in the heart of like Miami.
it's Cuba. It's Cuba in America.
Little
Everyone there is from Cuba,
Yeah.
or their parents are from Cuba, and all the Cuban traditions, the language, the cafecito, the cigars, it's all there. It's sort of like being transported to an American version of Cuba. It's amazing.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know, the number one language in Hialeah is Spanish. I mean, you can't get away without speaking.
You can't get away.
Can't get away without speaking Spanish. And then at a high school, I went to college for 3 months, learning how to. I wanted to get into computers, learn how to fix computers or what have you. But we had a seminar 3 months later, and some of the guys who graduated came back, and I didn't care about where they were working. I cared about how much they were making. So back in the day, we're talking about '85. I kept asking, "How much you making now?" "Oh, $10." "You $12." I ain't going to college to make $10,
Right.
$12 an hour. I know those different times. So I had the opportunity to work for UPS, and of course I got tired of that. And the best thing that happened to me, and I always mention his name, and I saw Christian Iroa in a cigar shop, and he needed a rep in Florida.
Huh. How old are you around this time?
I had to be about 27.
Okay, so you're in a cigar shop
Yeah.
in Hialeah?
No, in Pembroke Pines.
In Pembroke Pines, so like north
my
of,
house. Yeah,
that was
north
your,
Hialeah,
okay.
yeah.
And so you run into Christian Iroa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you talking to him, or is he just like standing up like, hey, I need a sales rep?
No, he was talking to the owner of the shop at the time, or the manager, and they were talking, he needs a sales rep.
And this is the time where he owns Camacho Cigars, him
He
and
had
his
just
family.
started. He had just started. He had come from military school, and he had just started the business, the Camacho. Yeah, it was called Caribe at the time. And so I told him, look, I'm available, and I was on vacation. So I told him, I'm available. I was on vacation for UPS, and I could give it a shot, whatever. He kind of, okay, it just happened one thing. All right, this and that. So I got a couple samples, and
Were the cigars as good then as they are now? Or were they better?
the ones that he
was
making?
selling then?
Well, the number one brand at the time was Baccarat, which had a flavored, had a sweet tip.
Uh-huh.
But when those Camachos first came out, but it was in the transition phase because the guy Camacho who owned it, I think they had bought the brand from
Yeah.
him, and something happened to him. He had passed away, and then they took the brand Camacho, but they still had some of the older stuff that the guy had made. So you had the older boxes, and now you got the newer boxes coming in, the combination. But those, and I tell everybody, those Liberties and those 1118s and all those, they were like outstanding. I mean, I tell you, some of the best cigars. It's the truth. I used to hide. I used to steal some from him. Not steal a box, but I mean his own stash. I'd go grab a cigar from him. Hey, who's smoking my cigars?
Like I do at your office.
Yeah, who's smoking my cigars? But yeah, they were flat out delicious. Kudos to him. I always give him credit, for helping me get into the business.
He speaks highly of you too.
No, he's a good guy, and I never forget where I come from. One thing that's about me, anybody who has ever helped me, and Lord knows I've had some dark days in this industry, and I've never forgotten anybody who's helped me get to where I'm going, and the people that get in my way, I just try to crush them, because that's just the way, because if not, they're going to try to crush me. That's just the way I look at life.
So you run into Christian Iroa, he offers you a job, or you volunteer for a job, and you start selling cigars. What are you doing now? You're going around from shop to shop?
From shop to shop in Florida.
South Florida?
Well, no, the whole state of Florida. So, I didn't know nothing about sales. But I was always sharp. I was never,
You're a people person.
yeah. And I remember I going to the shop in Jacksonville, no appointment or nothing. I walk in, and a guy, sort of a hard ass, look, I'm the new sales guy for Caribe imported cigars, yada, yada, yada. And he tells me, do you have an appointment? I said, no, sir, I don't have an appointment. And, well, I don't see nobody without an appointment. I saw he had a Rolex watch without the date. And I had one of those. I bought it a long, long time ago. It was black phase. And I looked at it, I said, look, we got the same watch. And I'm trying to get conversation with the guy, and the guy, I don't see nobody without an appointment. I said, okay. So I walk out the store. These old, it wasn't the brick phones, but something a little bit better than the brick phones, but it was a long time ago, going back 20-some years. And I called the guy in the store, and I said, this is Tobacco Cove. And he goes, hello? I said, yeah, hi. There's Erik Espinosa from Caribbean Porter Cigar. I would like to make an appointment to visit your shop. He says, okay, are you the guy who just left here? I said, yeah. He goes, okay, fair enough. When do you want to make the appointment? 2 minutes from now. and, like, I'm here, dude. I'm in Jacksonville. I drove this whole way. So he says, get your ass in here, and then that's how I started, and the guy gave me an order, and then I started rolling, and then with 3 months being in the company, I became the sales manager of the company, so I traveled throughout the whole country just training guys and getting the sales guys going.
How long did you work at Camacho?
I don't remember those things, man.
Years?
Well, then I became after I went abroad, after I traveled the whole country, I got tired of it, and I wanted to spend more time with my son, so I wanted to become like an independent broker in Florida.
Okay.
So I still worked with them, not directly with the company, but I was an independent broker, and I carried their brand. But I was doing Indian Tobacco before it became Rocky Patel. And then I had so many people call me, the Drew Estates.
Did you hang out with that dude Paul, who's like a very famous independent broker? He's no longer with us. Peter's brother.
Oh yeah, Paul was my boy. We used to stay
Everyone has
together.
such great things to say about that guy.
No, Paul's my boy. I mean, I didn't give the eulogy, but it's sort of, I got everybody together and we talked. Yeah, that was my boy. Good,
a lot of people have good
good people, good, great guys.
So now you become an independent broker, and I'm imagining at some point you go, I should just start my own brand.
No, I never wanted that.
Really?
Listen, I was making tons of money. When I tell you tons of money,
really,
I was making.
This is the '90s boom.
I was making more money than most owners. I'm telling you.
People don't understand that, Erik. They don't understand. They think that there's so much money. It's like, dude, once you own the company,
I made more money as a broker than I've made as a cigar owner. And I don't care what nobody says. Now, I have a company with a lot of money, but so I was making FU money. I'm telling you, FU money, okay? I was getting checks. I had about 6 cigar companies, bundles, lighters, cigarettes. I would sell cigarettes. I would sell these flavor cigarettes, Nat Shermans of the world.
Yeah,
and I had my sister in a garage. I sold $2 million out of a garage.
Wow.
Yeah, because I had the whole state. You couldn't cross lines with cigarettes because of the stamping. So Sampornas, the clove cigarettes, it was just booming. And then here we go. I win Salesman of the Year, and I get a check for $20,000 for Salesman of the Year and a pink slip at the same time. I'm like, what is this? And I'm not going to mention the name. But I'm like, dude, how do you fire the guy who made you the most amount of money? And, well, I can hire somebody with less and this and that. And I said, there's no such thing as an overpaid salesman. I'm on commission. The more I sell, the more you make. And it's just, it pained him to make those big checks.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? No, it happens. Even with me, when I have some people here that I've seen growth, and it's like every once in a while I look back and I think my father would never have paid this guy that money. But you know what? My father wouldn't be where I am right now because
right.
His ego would have allowed him to stop that.
I said, okay, whatever, no big deal. I'll get another brand, and I did, and then the same thing happened. And then I said to myself, I have no job security. And whenever, I got no contract with these guys. Whenever they don't want, from my hard work, I help build them. It's a combination. They worked hard. They make great cigars.
Sure, of course.
And then I got no job security. So I ventured out. I met a guy in a cigar shop, Eddie Ortega, and then we did the the EO brands.
So much to talk about here.
We did the EO brands, and and we had one of the hottest selling cigars in the
So
country.
did you guys partner on this?
Yeah.
Okay, so was he making the cigars and you were selling the cigars?
No, it was a combination. We both blended.
Okay. So tell me about Eddie Ortega. Is he no longer in the business, or he's a sales rep somewhere now?
I don't know. I don't know. I think
You don't
he's
speak to him
real estate.
anymore?
Well, I have nothing. No, I have nothing against the guy. We
You just don't talk a lot.
Well, right. Like for his birthday, I'll reach out to him.
Sure.
Or something. I don't dislike the guy.
Okay, so I'm just starting to get into cigars, and I find out what Padron is. And you know Izzy that used to work at Smoke Inn?
Yeah.
Okay, so he's over here now,
Yeah.
Waterford. Okay, so I meet Izzy. This is like, I don't know, 2013, 2012, somewhere in there. And he said, oh, you like Padron? You should try an Ortega. It's basically the same thing with less age. And I said, oh, okay. So I start getting really into Ortega. And then he puts out the Wild Bunch and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, these are legendary fucking classic cigars. So you were involved in that?
No.
Okay.
No, I was not involved in the Ortega,
Okay.
the Padron thing,
Okay, so that-
or the
that
Wild Bunch.
happened later.
We already had separated. He already went his way, and I had gone my
How
way.
long did you guys stay together for?
We were about 6-7 years.
Okay, so almost a full decade.
Close to
Half a decade.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the brand called?
601, which today happens to be June 1st. How ironic. It was called 601.
It's meant to be.
We had the 601. We started with another brand, and then we had a lawsuit with it, and then
was
we
the name
started
of it?
Real Vibe. It was called Series X, and then we had a lawsuit with that. Then we did one called Real and Vibe.
I'm guessing.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
I'm not going to get into that.
Real Vibe, which
Real Vibe.
Real. It was one called Real, and the other one called
Bro,
Vibe.
you're so ahead of
Real.
your time now.
Yeah,
Everyone
dude,
talks about vibes all the time.
So, yeah, and then Rocky was making those.
Okay, so Rocky Patel's making the cigars. What year is this around?
I have no idea.
2001?
I don't remember.
2000?
It could be, yeah, around
Somewhere around there. I'm
2000.
guessing
yeah,
based
around
on my
2000,
math.
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So Rocky Patel's making it. Now, at some point, you're in Calle Ocho. You run into Don Pepin. At some point, you guys work together.
No, I used to. So when we're doing okay with the Real Vibe, so I used to sell for a company called Kojimar, which is a flavored cigar.
Okay.
One of the hottest selling flavored cigars. And coincidental, Eduardo Fernandez buys out tropical cigars, which they had Don Juan and Cacique, a lot of brands that were doing.
So this is Casa Fernandez just coming off their pizza money in Spain. They just sold all their big chains, and now he wants to get into tobacco, and he's buying everything.
It could be. I don't know anything about the
Okay.
pizza thing, but he buys out tropical.
Well, that's where he came
right,
from.
which happened to be right across the street from each other, with one little road in between.
In Miami or in Nicaragua?
In Miami.
Okay.
So I go to the Kojimar and I see this man rolling cigars in front of Tropical. Or it's no longer Tropical. I think it's called Casa Fernandez, and he was just doing it fast. I like the style, so I said, you know, when I leave this place, I'm gonna go see him, and then I forgot, and I went home, and I kept thinking about it. I'm like, it kept bothering me. So I said, tomorrow I'm gonna go. And I did. And I went and I spoke to him. He made me a cigar. He goes, look, this is something, you know, this is tobacco they give me. I wouldn't make this, but, you know, yada, yada.
So he's using Aganorsa tobacco.
We exchanged, I don't know if he had Aganorsa
But
tobacco at the time.
he was there.
He was there, yes. He was
Okay.
working with there. I don't even think Eduardo was growing because when Eduardo started growing, he had some tough times with the wrapper.
Right.
It wouldn't burn, you know.
Which
now,
a lot of people
course,
don't realize, when you start a tobacco farm, you can't get wrapper out of it for 3 years.
For a while, but you learn as you go. He's got some of the best tobaccos in the world right now, if not the best.
It's arguable. It's top three.
No, it's definitely you know. But you learn from your mistakes. You know. So if he wasn't, and then
Especially
he
when you're that smart.
and he
The guy's
started.
brilliant.
Yeah, I heard he went to Wharton. You know. By the way, I have a great relationship. He's a great.
He's a brilliant guy.
He's a brilliant guy. So he learned from his mistakes. He started growing some of the best tobaccos, and then I guess I don't know all the details, but if I was to guess, partnered up with Pepin. They went and they opened up a little factory in Little Havana.
Right, on 18th Street? Or on 8th Street, I'm sorry,
8th Street, right. And then and then when they left out of it, because the cigars were too expensive, when they left out of there, when they partnered up in Nicaragua, that's when we started the 601s. It was Eddie and I, so we did the 601, the blue, the red,
But I feel like you're kind of skipping over that time on 8th Street, though. Didn't you make any cigars with him there?
No, it was too expensive.
Okay, but Padilla and Pete Johnson.
And Pete Johnson would make cigars.
They were making cigars there. But you were around this crew. You were like, I feel like...
No, because I didn't see paying, like $3-4 wholesale for a cigar, and then I was just doing the math, and you got to double it, and if I paid $4, I had to sell it for $8. The stores had to sell it for $16, and it was just.
People think everyone was making millions of dollars off cigars.
And it was just too expensive, and at the time. But I did tell them, if you ever go to Nicaragua, call me, and they did, and we started. That's where we started. One of the first brands they made out of there were the 601s. We started with the red and the. Do
you still have any of those around, or no? They're all gone.
I don't. I see some once.
But you don't personally.
No.
You don't hold on to cigars.
Why?
Once you're in the business, they start flowing through your hands so much that it's like...
I mean, not to change your conversation, I'm in Cincinnati. A guy goes, "Hey, Eric, I've been aging this for 25 years, Cuban cigar. I want you to have it." He gives it to me. What do? I go like this. I bite it, I spit it out, I light it up, and he said, "Wait, yo. Dude, I've been aging this for 25 years. Well, you want me to age it for another 25? I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, how long do you want me to keep it?"
You're not a collector.
No. What am I going to collect cigars? And I tell everybody, by the way, the longer you age a cigar, the weaker it gets. It loses a lot of flavors. Now, it marinates better, but if you like strong cigars...
There's an expiration date.
Yes.
To some degree.
It's not wine.
Right.
It's nothing near wine.
Even wine, some people say, has an expiration date.
I can't talk about that because I don't know anything about wine.
Okay, but I think we're all in agreement there that, for me, a 3-year aged cigar, if it's not good at 3 years, it's not going to be good.
No, and why? And look, all these guys that collect bourbon, leave the bottle. I mean, when you're done drinking it, hey, I had a Pappy Van Winkle 15. Trust me, the bottle's there. I mean, what are you gonna do? Look, I'm 55. I don't know how long.
Bourbon's more clout. Like, look at what I got.
So what? I mean, you only live one time.
I think people love collecting. I am one of those people. I have collectible things everywhere.
So you're a hoarder.
Not a hoarder. Not a hoarder. No, because let me tell you why. I feel as though the things I collect are almost they're not almost, they're investments to a degree.
Okay, fair enough. I have so many baseball cards that I get, and I gave them out to my son. And my son's a huge baseball kid, but he gives 3 shits about the cards.
Right.
And I don't know how much money we have sitting on there, but they're not even kept well.
If they're not
they're in the closet and all the BS.
Okay, all right. So now Don Pepin moves to, but you were already making cigars with Rocky.
Yes.
And Rocky's king at this point.
Yeah.
By the time I got into cigars around 2010, Rocky was the puff daddy.
He's already doing well for himself, yes.
Is it fair to assess him as the puff daddy of cigars at 2012? He's like I would walk into shops, it would be like posters of him. He's gonna be here, and he's wearing suits, and he was like doing the whole thing, you know?
I mean, you know what the truth is?
Marketer.
One thing about me is if you've worked hard for what you have. Okay, Rocky is one of the most hated and loved.
I know nothing about Rocky.
Hated and loved. I'm talking on the social media at the same time. He's a good friend of mine. Okay, and I'd do anything for the guy. I know all his suffering, all his tough times, his black days, his struggles. He has some dark times. But I will tell you, nobody has ever worked harder in this industry than he has. And I mean harder, I mean by being on planes, traveling.
It shows.
Going to Nicaragua, going to Honduras, going...
I did some of them with him. If Rocky Patel's not the most popular brand, I don't know what is.
I did some of the stuff with him. So he deserves everything anything positive happens, he deserves it.
We all get what we deserve in the end.
I will tell you.
So, no, mad respect to Rocky Patel if he ever watches this. So, Okay, so you're still with Rocky, but this guy Pepin,
Yeah.
was he already an older gentleman at this point?
No, I maybe
50s?
maybe 50, 60s
Okay,
probably.
and he had just come from Cuba before
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
and so now he goes to Nicaragua, and he does call you.
Yeah, well, when they were going, he told
you
me
friends
they were
at this point?
Well, yeah, because I'd get him some. I remember we did a boxing. It was Don King Monday Night Fights on HBO, and my cousin was she would handle the whole event, and she needed a couple rollers, so I got him to do that. For them to make extra money and what have you, and then we continued talking.
Okay, so you guys are cool.
Yeah.
You ever speak to him now?
No, I mean we've gone different ways,
Sure.
but I got no ill feelings
No,
for
I'm
him
not
or
saying-
whatever.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're mostly down in Nicaragua. And I
Fucking
don't-
empire now.
Yeah.
So now you start making cigars with him, but this is after he stopped using Aganorsa tobacco. So in the beginning, the Padilla,
No.
he's still using Aganorsa at this point.
Sure, they're partners in the factory.
Okay, but at some point that ends.
Well, I don't know. I was no longer with them when that happened. I don't
That was
know.
2007,
I don't know.
from what I understand.
I'm horrible at years.
Okay. Okay,
But when
you-
I stopped making the cigars at the factory, I don't know what happened after
where
that.
did you go from Pepin?
I opened my own factory.
Okay, and this is where.
This is 11, 12 years ago. When
Okay.
when I opened up the own factory.
Okay, and your own factory, you met another senior gentleman, older gentleman,
Yeah.
that had a small factory, and you helped build this thing into something.
Well, no, we had a guy, a Milcar, who is Rocky's partner now in the factory in Nicaragua, and he called me up one day and he told me, "Look, I want you to help my cousins I have here." And I said, "Help them what? Can you buy some bundles for them or what have you?" So I did. And then I helped them out, whatever the price was. I got them, I sold them, no big deal. And then the gentleman I sold them to called me like a month later. "Yo, Erik, you have more of these bundles." "What bundles?" I didn't even remember where they were. And, "Oh, dude, these things are great, yada, yada, yada." I didn't even try them. So I went to the shop and I grabbed a cigar and I'm looking at it, triple cab, Cuban style. And the blend was great. The cigar was good for a bundle. It was the best bundle cigar I ever had. And I reached out to Mick. I said, "Who are these guys?" "Oh, they're my cousins, blah, 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 blah." So I said, "Can you set up a meeting with me?" And he goes, "Yeah." So I went down to Nicaragua and they were renting a little section inside a factory that wasn't theirs.
That's how a lot of them start.
So, father and son. So, and I sat down with them and I kind of picked their brains and I told them how you like to open up a factory. And I'm a firm believer you got to let people make money and they'll respond. And I didn't want to be greedy. I could have owned this whole thing myself, and just have them run it. But if I'd done that, then I wouldn't be confident with that because I feel they'll be stealing from me and
Sure,
and
of course.
it's not theirs and all that. So I told them we'd break this down 50-50. And they said, "Well, we got no money." And I said, I didn't ask you if you had money or not. I said, "How would you like to open a factory?" And we did. We found this beautiful old colonial building, La Zona. And that was 11 years ago. And
we've had so many cigars in Privada Cigar Club, in Farm Rolled, in all of the clubs and the shops from La Zona. It's a well-established factory.
Miracles. I mean, we performed the miracles because no one wanted to give us tobacco. And we were the new kids on the block. And if it wasn't for AJ and if it wasn't for, let's kudos to Drew Estates, because Drew Estate hadn't sold yet. And Jonathan and Marvin, they helped me tremendously. Eduardo helped me, Placencia. I mean, but the other guys didn't want to see me succeed. So, okay, if you buy 10 bales of this, you got to get 10 of this. And what am I going to do with the 10 of the bad ones?
There's a lot of that in this game.
Yeah, so, and I kind of got...
What other brands have you made out of La Zona?
Well, I've made a lot of brands, and people have been, they start off the gate, and they're very successful. Here's the issue that I've had with some of these guys. I made one, Cornelius and Anthony. Phenomenal.
A highly regarded brand.
So, yeah, and they're up here. And then he sells the company, the cigarette company, for, rumor has it was $250 million. So what does he need cigars for? So he just told me, "Look, I'm going to get out of the game." And And wow, and that one kind of bothered me. It hurt because everything worked well together.
It was perfect.
Because when I was doing the L'Orange, I needed someone to make the darker L'Orange and that wrapper. And we were doing the Daddy Mac, and they were selling it
Daddy
crazy.
Mac is so good, AKA Purple Drank.
You know, and
For all my Pravada heads, AKA Purple Drank, great, sweet cigar. I mean, how you get that sweetness out of a San Andreas wrapper is just, it's unbelievable.
So and then we did the protocols. Now I do a lot of brands for CI famous, a lot of these catalog companies. We do a lot of cigars.
Amendola?
Also did the Amendola, the cannolis.
The cannolis were great. We had those in the club too.
We do the cannolis for them. I think they came in number 3 or 2 or something like that on the list or something like that.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic cigar.
Yeah,
that is correct.
Amendola.
Okay, so.
And we did the War Zone for General, which I think it got number 11 cigar of the year, Cigar Aficionado. I could be 11, 12, I don't remember the number, but
cigar.
yeah. So we did that, and I mean for us to get that rating, the accolade in Cigar Aficionado
without paying for it.
Yeah, I mean for a brand that we made for the biggest company in the world, that was great.
The next phase of your career that I want to talk about, or not the next phase, but the thing that I think is enamoring about you or is attracts people to you is you're a real people person and you bring people together.
Yeah. I do.
Okay? And you also were, in my opinion, like you were kind of a little bit of a catalyst, and it wasn't just you. I think Drew Estate did a fantastic job of this too, but you built a community of consumers around your cigar brand, around Espinosa. You have the La Zona Fest at the factory every year. There's you don't just have people that like Espinosa, they become
family.
Yeah, family.
It's family.
Yeah. You've built a real community.
I mean, I always wanted to give props to everybody who's posted my cigars or bought my cigars throughout the year. So every year we do, it's called La Zona Palooza. We do it in South Florida in the warehouse, and because we can't find a venue. Because it rains so much, and I've done things outside, and it was a cluster. I mean, so the problem is finding a venue.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've struggled with
We're
something
doing
you were trying to do.
PravadaCon on November 5th, and it has been a nightmare to find the venue.
Right. So we do it more at the same time you do it, November 3rd, 4th, the first weekend in November.
I will change that next year. I didn't realize that.
No, I'm not having it this year.
Okay.
So if you
you're
don't
not?
know, because we already did it in March. Remember
Okay,
I told
great.
you to go buy
That's
it.
right.
We
That
did
is
it
right. Okay.
I will do it again in November. That was always the date.
I'll push mine back.
Yeah, no worries. I'm not worried. So we, I want to, pay homage to all these guys who, and girls who've posted my cigars, for the longest time. And everyone tells me, "Duh, you always invite the same people." Yeah. It warrants for me to invite them.
They're family.
They're family.
They're the people that are making this thing work.
And one of my greatest moments in the cigar industry is I'm doing an event in Philadelphia, and I walk in and I look to my left and I see a guy named Mark Davis who lives in West Palm Beach. And I said, "Mark, what are you doing here?" He said, "I flew for your event." I said, "You came all the way from West Palm for my event?" He goes, "Yeah." And he's a guy who goes to La Zona Palooza. And then I look and I see another guy, Jeff Todd, and I'm like,
and you know him by name,
and I
just
said,
like
Jeff,
I do.
I said, "Jeff, what are you doing here?" He said, "Dude, I came to your event." And he lives in Maryland. And do you guys know each other? "Yeah, we met at La Zona Palooza."
Amazing. Isn't it amazing?
I'm staying, I get goosebumps. He goes,
Isn't it gratifying?
I'm staying at his house. I'm like, wow. And that day is like, look, I swear. Look,
I know.
I get
Trust me, it
goosebumps,
happens to me all the time.
And I'm like, wow. I mean, I did this.
You did.
I bring people together.
You did.
And then it becomes family because I open up my office, people walk and roam. We hide everything, of any paperwork, whatever, we close everything up, whatever. But, I let people roam around. They you know, and the first thing I tell everybody, if there's somebody here you don't like, stay away from them.
Right.
You can drink all you want, you can smoke all you want, but if you start bothering somebody because you're drunk, then you gotta go. And you can come back the next day, but I just don't want nobody. People paid, you know, their hard-earned money to get there,
of course,
and vacation time. But I tell you, this year was the best. I mean, this year was absolutely. We had Guy Fieri there. Went by.
Okay, so tell me about the project with Guy Fieri. It's called Knuckle Sandwich.
Yes. So
and you've been friends with him for a long time.
I've been. We've known each other. Now we're friends. I mean, before we known each other. So, but before. He reached out to me through a mutual friend that he wanted, but he had done his research. Right? He knew everything about me. He's no dummy. I mean, he did his research. We met in South Beach. It was the Food and Wine Festival. We go out there and we start talking, and he wants me to create a cigar, and I told him, man, I don't feel this will work. And at that time, the entourage came and his people, and he had to leave, and I'm like, I get in the car, and he goes, look, we'll talk later. And I get in the car, and I'm like, I'm a dumbass. I mean, and I told my son, he goes, Dad, are you crazy, this and that? But I didn't feel, so he called me, and he asked me why did I tell him no. I said, Guy, with all respect, a lot of celebrities have tried this, and it doesn't work. You know,
isn't that amazing?
You've had Michael Jordan had tried it a long time ago. You've had Jay-Z, Gary Sheffield, Chuck Norris, Jim Belushi,
the Milkman.
The Milkman he's doing it now, Big Papi. And he asked me why doesn't it not work?
Big Papi, it works because United pushes the hell out of that.
Well, maybe in Boston,
right?
Because that's where
I've heard that. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But you know, unless you do something about it, it's not going to work.
Right.
And he goes, Papi, you don't know me. He says, I don't favor nothing that I do. I give it a 1,000%, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But and I said, so he asked me, what's your ideas? I said, okay, I'll follow you in Diners, Driving, and Dive. You tell me where you're going to be. I'll schedule an event, okay? And you do it during the day, and at nighttime, I just need you for an hour or two.
Yeah.
Sign some boxes, whatever, and then you go do your business. I'll stay, and he said, okay. So the first one we did, you know, I sent him a bunch of cigars, and we were going to go down to Nicaragua, but due to COVID, we couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So I sent him a bunch of cigars. We went through 20, 30 cigars. Which one do you like? Which one? So my team, you know, his guys, he's got a couple guys that smoke cigars. And you know, this is the two blends we did, the Habano and the, by the way, they're selling like gangbusters. They're, you know, he wears the shirt in Diners, Driving, and Dive. You know, every event we have,
he lives it.
He does a little video.
And I think that's why some of the celebrity stuff doesn't work, because they don't live it.
They don't live it. They don't do nothing about it. He'll do a video for every single shop that we've done.
Wow.
I mean, we send him, and wherever he's at, he could be in.
And he seems like a great guy.
He's a trip. I can't keep up with him. This guy does no drugs. I'm telling you, people think no drugs. This guy's straight. This guy, he drinks a little bit, but at this energy level, I worked out with him. I'm pretty strong.
Yeah.
The dude can outlift me. And I don't normally say that. I'm not thrilled to say that. I don't like to lose in nothing that I do, bro. But I'm working out, dude, and I'm seeing him, and I'm, you know, I got, you know, 45 pounds doing curls, and he's got 55. And I'm like, all right, let me get the 55. This guy's not gonna outshine. I'm like, he's doing boom, boom, and I'm like, what, you know, and you know, but his mentality, and everything he touches turns to gold. And I noticed that because Sammy Hagar told me that one day, because they're partners in a tequila that's Santo Tequila, and he said it's the best business partner I've ever had, and we did it on a handshake, and I told him I don't want no attorneys, no nothing. I said you have to believe in me.
Wow.
And he goes, why don't, you know, here's a guy who makes millions. He's not going to make a lot of money in the cigar. He knows that. But I looked him straight in the eye and I shook his hand. He goes, I believe in you. I've heard nothing but great things about you. And we did it. And it is what it is. We're 50-50 owner on the brand. Wow. And all we have is a handshake. But everything I've asked him to do, he's done. You know, Not in a timely fashion. I mean, because he kind of scares me sometimes because we're supposed to meet on a Monday, and I called him for 2 weeks. I got no response. But he was there Monday. I was nervous Sunday, but
So
he was
okay,
there Monday.
but you guys did the opening in Puerto Rico.
Yeah, and everyone tells me, why'd you, Lou was there.
Lou went down there.
Yeah, so everyone says, why would you do the grand opening, the launching in Puerto Rico? Because that's where he was at, filming Diners, Drive-In, and Dives.
Right.
And I was a little nervous because being in Puerto Rico, I don't know if a lot of people knew who he was in Puerto Rico. So I was a little nervous. Oh my God! So I'm doing this event in the biggest shop, and you know who's. So I called the lady. I told her, you know, we want to do an event, joint the member. She goes, I don't care about no chef. Now she don't speak English. I don't care about no chef. I want you here. Your cigars do great here. I want you here. I said, okay, Rita. And then the son calls me. Who's the guy? And I tell him, yeah, I know who he is. Blah, 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 blah. So she calls me like at 9 o'clock at night. Eric, this guy's real famous. I said, yeah, I told you Rita. And he goes, I got people already coming from Chicago telling me whole tables, New York, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So a guy from Chicago came and bought like 6 boxes.
Wow.
Just because he wanted to meet him. It was his favorite show.
Yeah.
So he flew all the way from Chicago to Puerto Rico just to meet him. And
Puerto Rico's great, isn't it?
How about
the food?
The food there, the
Food
culinary
is phenomenal. The people
oh
are
my God.
amazing. I love Puerto Rico so much.
It was phenomenal. I followed him a little bit, and I had the risotto they make there. Is, every restaurant, I did not have a bad meal. So we do the event. He's there for an hour and a half because he had to go do things, but it was great. The lines were incredible. We sold so much product, sold out of product.
Did Lou teach you how to sell cigars?
No, Lou couldn't carry my jockstrap if his life depended on it. So we go hunting.
Lou likes to go to events and tell people how to sell their cigars.
We go hunting the next day for iguanas. There are nooses there, but he's just a hunter, likes to go hunting. So we go up these, and we were in, I mean, I don't know if you can cuss here, but it's Buckfup, whatever, not the same.
What do they call them? Garajo then?
Yeah. We were far.
Yeah.
And then it's funny, his bouncer, his security guy, says, okay, guy, from here on, no one's going to know you. This is the hills, the country, nobody knows. So we stop at a little gas station, get some snacks, water to keep hunting. And as soon as we walk in, they go on the counter, oh my God, that's Guy Fieri. Oh my God, can I take a picture? And he's like, he's like, I think you know what he's going to know. What, you know what I mean? I can't go from here to the corner without somebody knowing this guy. And he likes that, by the way.
Okay.
He likes the when the timing's right.
Yeah. It's got to get old.
It gets old, but if he's on the phone, because he's a huge family man, huge. You know, if he's on the phone with either his wife or his kids or whatever, you know, he drops everything, and he should.
Yeah.
And he should.
Sure.
So, but we've kind of, you know, we're very similar. We're both alpha dogs.
Yeah.
We've butted heads sometimes in a good way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing an event and he's signing. And I'm signing the boxes, and some guy, hey, Eric, I love your shirt. Can I take a picture with you? And nothing with him. And I'm like, well, yeah, sure. Another guy, just coincidentally. The only 2 guys. You had 300 people, the only 2 guys, and it was back to back. Hey, Eric, can I get a picture of you and your son? And I look at him and I said, one day I'm going to make you famous.
So let me ask you this. Out of all the cigars you've made, what cigar didn't get the praise it deserves?
You know, that I can't tell you that. I can't answer that question because the ratings we get in Cigar Aficionado. Now, I did a bad cigar, which I didn't care for it, and it was because I had to make it.
You're putting out hundreds of cigars.
But no, it was one that was back in the day because I had to use the Jamaican tobacco. I did one called Reggae and all that, which I personally didn't care. It did well, but I didn't care for it.
It did well.
But I have the, even Cigar Aficionado gives me great ratings. I've never had a bad rating.
What about what do you think is the best cigar you make? In your personal opinion, what do you like the best?
The L'Orange.
The L'Orange is
that's my baby. That's my baby. I mean, we couldn't make it for a year and a half because we couldn't get the wrapper. Because of COVID, they stopped growing it, and it's going to be tough.
I got all of your prototypes, and guess what? People fucking love them.
Yeah.
The Lou Liga cigar in his lounge, that's one of the prototypes. That's a Habano version.
That's a Habano
and then you gave me a box press version that I used in something else.
Because what came about of that was we had to change I wanted to, because AJ was telling me, listen, if you change the wrapper, put this wrapper on it, it's going to taste the same.
Yeah.
And we tried it, and I told my son, what do you think? No, Dad, we're not lying to nobody. We're not going to make the cigar.
Yeah.
So we did do some that you have with same blend, but it's a different Habano wrapper. You know,
Hey, you've been a dream come true for Bravado.
You know.
And I want to thank you for that.
No, I thank you for what you do. I mean, the army you have is phenomenal. Everywhere I go, I do an event, and you know.
But it's your army too, because these people are they came from your camp, or they know you, they love you.
I appreciate it. I'm on a plane, and I'm walking into the plane, and I see a guy with Pravada, and of course I look and all this, and then I start talking to the guy, and oh, you're a Pravada member, and then he looks at me, and he goes, oh my God, you Erik Espinosa? I said, yeah.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah, so, and he was a cool dude. I forget where I was at because I had travel, and then they start boarding. He goes, look, it was a pleasure meeting you, but you know, I gotta get on a plane. I'm first class. I said, yeah, buddy, me too. I'm
he tried to one up you.
Yeah, I said, yeah, me too, buddy. I mean, you know. And then I'm in the first row, and he's like in the third. I go, how's it feel to sit back there? I mean, yeah, it was all in good. It was all in fun. I gave him a couple cigars, and
wow.
You know, yeah.
What a great guy, man.
It was cool. I mean,
you are such a shining example of a brand owner, of a cigar maker. I'm imagining that obviously you put in that work, you hustle, and you're here to feed your family. But I'm imagining that one of the things that's kept you going is that community that you built.
That and my son, and I don't like to fail. I nothing that I do in life. I'm 55 years old. I still play softball. If you find somebody who likes to lose, I'll show you a loser. I don't like to lose in anything I do in life. If one thing, and actually my son taught me this, and my son's only 30. If you're gonna do something, you do it the right way or you don't do it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a quick story. Guy asked me for some cigars and a couple shirts. I boxed it up and I sent it out. And he opened it up in Instagram. And then my son shows, look, Dad. He goes, look, Dad. And he shows me the guy opening up. He goes, what do you see? I said, he's opening up the box. No, look at it closely. And I'm like, what? He goes, look how neat that box is. I said, yeah. Now, I know I would never pack it neat because I don't give a shit. I'll throw it in there. He goes, when I knew it was for Guy Fieri, I went behind you and I repacked it because you never know what's going to happen. And that's when it all really made sense because sometimes people tell you things, but it doesn't hit you.
Of course.
And that's when it really hit me. And that's why we didn't do the L'Orange. Okay, I wasn't going to lie to nobody. But if we're going to do something, you either do it right or you don't do it.
Yeah.
Or you don't do it at all. Okay, because I learned at 55 years old, money's not everything. Okay, no. It helps, but with everyone, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners have had a lost family member due to COVID or due to whatever. And the biggest thing I have in my life is family, and that's what I'm all about. And I want to leave something for my son. Before I didn't care about a legacy. I didn't care what people thought. I'm dead. What do I care what people think about me?
Right.
But now, as you get older, you start changing, and you know, and I want people to remember me as, hey, stand up. You can't buy the guy, and I want my son to be, you know, the same way, and he is. Yeah. And I'm gonna be a grandfather, by the way.
Really?
In a couple months.
Congratulations, my bro.
The little baby girl, and he's not gonna go. He's not gonna go to the show, so he's a little nervous about that. And I always talk to him. You know, I've never been a dad, and neither was I. And look at you. Look what you came out. It'll come to you, man.
Oh, he's a great kid.
I can guide you, and you ever have questions, you ask me. But you're gonna be fine.
You know what I like about your son?
What's that?
Is that he's not afraid to be himself.
No. No,
and he's not trying to be you.
And he's not in the limelight.
I like that.
He doesn't like the limelight.
Right.
He's been with Jay-Z, pictures with Jay-Z,
right.
Billy Joel. He's never posted it.
Right.
He's a kid at 12 years old. We went to a charity event and the first guy he sees is Jay-Z. Never ever posted it. Has no idea what those pictures are, nor does he care.
Right.
I don't give a shit. Nor does he care.
He's a real one.
Do you know what he goes to school and tell everybody I was with Jay-Z? Never did that once. Not one time. You know, and that's what I like about him. He's not starstruck. He's not, you know. Him and Guy butt heads because his middle name is Dylan, and he hates that middle name. Because back in the day, that 90210 was... It's funny how life works. You know one of our biggest fans is Ian Ziering. You know, I ain't doing Sharknado. The guy who did the Sharknado, he was in 90210 Beverly Hills. Do you remember that?
Oh no, I didn't know.
Okay, you know what that is?
Yeah, of course.
The guy with the guy with the Steve, the guy with the blonde hair.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I've seen him. I saw him out in LA.
Ian Ziering, and he's a huge fan of our cigars.
Really?
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite shows, so that's why I named him Dylan. And he hates that name, so God called him, "Hey Dylan." And then and guy hates when people pronounce his name wrong. Which, by the way, it's
Fietti.
Yes, it's Fee and then Eddie. Fee Eddie.
Yes.
But Fury. People call him Fury. So he'll
Yeah.
go, "Yes, Mr. Fury."
I saw the dude on Barstool do that, and he got pissed.
Yeah. So
He was like, "It's Fietti."
yeah, it's yeah.
But listen, man, I'm just so honored and blessed to have you in my camp, and I wanted to give the people a little bit more of that haven't met you in person, a little bit more of that thing that you bring to the table, and I think it came through very well in this interview. And I'm grateful that you come here. I'm grateful that you work with me, and I know that our members are just so thrilled with what you've contributed to the Pravada legacy, and I can't thank you enough, and I'll always do everything I can to support you. And I want to say for the record that we were kind of put in a situation once where I could easily see where you would have doubted me, and you did not. You took me at face value, and I will never forget that.
I appreciate that.
I will never forget that.
I appreciate that. But I want to thank all your listeners out there, and keep supporting the brand, and keep. Now I got a granddaughter. I gotta buy a bunch of stuff for her and stuff like that. No, I'm just joking. I mean, I want everyone to try my cigars at least once.
Sure.
But the right one. Because if you like mild, don't go out and get one of my full body cigars. Or don't, if you like medium, don't get a mild or vice versa.
I think your
Get the
Connecticut
one-
is a fantastic
The
Connecticut.
Crema is one of the best.
No one
Connecticut's
talks
out there.
about it, but it's every time I light it up, I'm like, why isn't everyone talking about this cigar?
It does phenomenal. It really does.
They talk about Brulee, they talk about this, they talk about Uncle Paulie, but I'm like, yo, this guy's got a phenomenal Connecticut shade.
It's I think it's one of the best Connecticut's out there. But listen, we're building our name, and little by little. I'm not in no rush. I enjoy what I do, because if you love what you do for a living, you'll never work a day in your life. I enjoy what I do, and we're gonna keep pounding the pavement, and hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. That's our motto. That's our song. That's our company song. So
I love it.
Well,
thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
Hashtag, you know what? Hashtag Cigar Public. It went live today. 601.
601. Yeah.
Okay, we got
we
you
have
here.
that in common again.
This is going to go on the website hopefully tomorrow or the next day. I think this is an opportunity for cigar media for this, what I'm calling, and I'm curious how you feel about it, but I'm calling this the Pravada wave more or less a third wave, because we had the boom of the 90s, then we had the boutique boom, and now we're going into a different territory here over the last 4 years. It's more of what I call craft culture, because they want to know more about you. They want to know more about the products you're using. They want to know the story behind the cigars, and they're extremely passionate, and they want to be educated on what they're into.
And those are the people that smoke my cigars. I mean,
There's no doubt.
I can't get the golfer who doesn't really know anything about cigars, who goes in and buys a box of XYZ and
for $500. Yeah, right. No, and it's not half the cigar
and
that
the
you're
truth
making.
is, I don't want those guys,
Right.
because those guys are going to do absolutely nothing for me. I want the guys that really, are passionate about it, who write about it, who talk about it, who post about it.
Yeah.
And that's how we build our business.
And not for nothing, but social media is crushing cigars.
They're
crushing cigars. They're algorithming us out of the game. I used to get thousands of comments sometimes on my post. I'm down to 8 comments. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
This is why socials, Cigar Public, and Cigar Public are so important, because anyone can write an article as long as it's coherent. We'll have an editor look at it, but your voice can be heard, and that's what's so important about it. And
it's somewhere to go that you can relate to, and
build that community.
Absolutely.
My man, thank you so
brother.
much.
Thank you, brother.